It was many a year ago in a kingdom by the sea that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee.
Again. Hark! Louder! Tear up the planks! Here! Here! It is the beating of his hideous heart!
My name's Duffy Hudson, and this show I do Edgar Allan Poe, and it's entitled Shadow of the Raven. And it's a one-man, 1 hour presentation on the life and work of Edgar Allan Poe. So basically, Edgar comes out and almost from the point of view as if these are those last days in Baltimore, and his life is flashing before his eyes. And so he begins to remember, and he tells his story, his life story, mainly the major influences of his life, the loss of his mother, loss of his stepmother or his foster mother, and loss of his wife, and how those impacted his work. But I try to do it as if, this is Edgar talking.
My mother. While touring through Richmond, Virginia, she was struck down with the dreaded scourge of the consumption, tuberculosis. The Red Death, I call it. Everyone in Richmond knew of her career and of her plight, and though the profession of acting was looked down upon, she was loved by all.
When I was 9 years old, my father read The Raven to me one night, and I was like, what the hell is this about? This is kind of scary, it's kind of sad. This poor guy's wife is dead, and he's sad. And my father just turned me on to Poe. And it was the very next day I went to the school library and I got out the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe and I started reading The Raven.
But the Raven still beguiling my sad soul. In the smiling straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door.
I have 8 one-man shows. But Poe is the one right before I go on that I'm always a little afraid of. The words have to be exact, because there's a certain cadence to the words.
Is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore.
It doesn't happen in those. So I don't have that same kind of anxiety, but every time I walk out, okay, let's go. And so there's a certain amount of fear. And I think that keeps it fresh. That keeps it fresh.
And now, because of the beauty of the theater, now we can just call it right back, you see. We can just call back your willing suspension to disbelief, and we can just rebuild that fourth wall between you and me. And we do that through the use of the blackout, you see. So in just a second or so, these lights are going to go out. And when they go out, you ought to forget anything you just saw. And just go on this little journey.